Hey Bookies, welcome back to Nikki Kitchen Yummy Food and Fun. I'm getting ready to go ahead and cook some dinner. So let's get into this video. So here we are with the beef stew and rice. Once the fried pork chops, yeah, I gotta check my grease pot. Of course, I gotta deep fry. Y'all, I'm about to use this deep fry. I cleaned it out, make sure it was clean, double checked it, it's ready to go. So here I am about to check it one more time to see if the grease is getting hot. This thing get too hot, so I had to double check it and turn it down. So now I'm getting ready to go in here and take my meat out this package and put it into a bowl so I can wash it. But it took me a little time to get it out the package because I'm holding the bowl on my knee trying to put it in there, but I finally got it into the bowl, so I'm getting ready to go to the sink and get ready to go over here and wash this meat. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like cooking my meat without washing it first. So I'm getting ready to put this baby in some water and wash it clean. I gotta wash at least about 2 or 3 times before I get ready to season my meat or whatever. So I'm washing it over and over again and make sure I got everything out of it, because you know when it come out the market, they don't wash that meat. They just throw it in a damn package and you just go pick it up off the market and just bring it home. So with me personally, honestly, I have to wash my meat. But people say use vinegar. I don't use vinegar because I don't like the taste of the vinegar on my meat, because I basically can taste the vinegar on my meat, so I just use warm water. So after I'm done with that, then I get ready to proceed to get my seasonings ready. Of course, I got chicken seasoning, but I did not use that. I use meat tenderizer and the garlic powder, because the chicken seasoning is just like regular seasoning. It's just like the spice season that they have with the seasoning salt. So I just basically use the meat tenderizer onto my pork chops, and then I decided to use some garlic powder. But the seasoning salt, you really can't have a taste to it like that, because it really don't have a taste to it. So I put a little bit of garlic powder. You know I love my garlic. You can taste that garlic on the meat when the meat is done. The meat's in the riser, you really can't taste that, but I put enough seasoning so that way that meat can have a lot of flavor in it. So then I spin it around, make sure I put a little bit more seasoning on the back of that meat, because I only put it on one part of the meat. So after I do that, then I decided to crack my egg, drop the egg in there, stir that egg in over and over again until it all, gets in there. What the egg does is it makes the meat crispy, and you have to basically try this, y'all. If y'all don't use egg in y'all meats like chicken, pork chops, or other kind of, some people put eggs in their hamburger meat too as well, but the egg makes the meat crispy to me, and it makes it more flavory too as well. So I'm just stirring this up in there, trying to get all that flavor in there all together. Once I do all that, then I go ahead and decided to add a little bit more seasoning to it, because the egg might take a little bit of flavor out of that meat. So I cover it up, and then I wash out my drainer for my for my deep fryer. I wash it out because it's been sitting out for a while. So then I drop that basket into my deep fryer. Once I drop it into my deep fryer, I let it sit there until I'm done with the rest of the dinner, because the pork chop is the last thing that I'm going to fry. So I put the top on that baby. Once I put the top on it, then I proceed to get my Food Lion brand flour. Ain't nothing wrong with cheap flour. I'm going to pour it into my pork chop bowl, and then I'm going to pour it in there. Once I pour it in there, then I'm going to shake that baby up. But I pour enough in there, and I mix it up with my hands at first. And then once I mix it with my hands, if it's not enough and it still feel kind of mushy gushy because of the egg, then I add more flour to it. I don't really use that much flour on my meats, but I got to have enough flour to make sure that meat is going to fry the way I want it to fry, not come out brown and crispy like I like it. Nika's Kitchen, Yummy Food and Fun. So after I do that, I put a top on it, and I'm getting ready to shake that baby. Shake it. Once I shake it. Once I shake it, and I open that top up. Oh yeah, y'all, look at that. That flour has really simple. Okay, so once I do that, then everybody say you don't never wash your dirty hands when you're cooking meat. You got cross contamination going on in your videos. You need to wash your hands. So here, let me show y'all that I wash my hands after I use my hands on raw meat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm washing my hands clean. And of course, yes, that water is very warm, not cold. So after that, then I go out, get my pot, rinse it out. After I rinse it out, then I go ahead and started to open it up my beef stew. This is the best beef stew you can have. It's got the pop top on it. You don't have to use a can opener. It was kind of hard for me to do it because I was holding the camera at the same time, so I had to grab a mitten not to cut my hand open, because I done cut my hand too many times on these cans. So I grab a mitten, open up that can, and then look at that, y'all. I'm having a hard time because I don't have nobody to hold the camera. So here we are. I got the top off. It looks good. I'm about to get ready to pour that baby into this pot. When I pour it into that pot, I just add a little bit of water to it. Not too much water, but I'm going to add just a little bit of water. Just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Not too much, because it'll make it water and not have no flavor. So I just put a little bit of water in there. Once I put that little bit of water in there, then I'm going to go ahead and drop some seasonings in there. You know what I'm saying? Put a little bit of seasoning, not too much. Once I put the seasoning there, then I got to go out and look in the refrigerator to try to find some butter. I don't have nobody to hand me the butter, so I got to go look for the butter. So now I'm about to get ready to put some butter up in this baby. The only thing I put in there is seasoning, salt, and a piece of blue bonded butter. I just put a little block piece, you know what I'm saying, just enough to make sure it tastes good. So I just drop that block up in there. Once I drop that up in there, then I head over to the stove, set it on the eye, move the stove cover, of course, and let that baby cook. Once it cooks, then I go over and try to find something else to do while that is simmering. I'm gonna stir this up. Then I cover it up with a plate, and then I go and wash dishes. Of course, you know, you have dirty dishes in the sink, or you have dirty dishes in the refrigerator. When it's time to cook, you can't find anything. So I'm going in here washing the dishes for my rice pot and for my pork chop pot. So I'm getting ready to go ahead and stir my beef stew back up to make sure it's cooking, which is cooking real fine. It looks real good. So I stir it up to make sure it's cooking the way I want it to cook, and I want it cooked well done. I don't want my potatoes to feel like it's hard when I cook, because you know it's already pre-cooked when it's in the can. You just basically put it on the stove, adding your seasonings or whatever to it, and let that baby cook. So you can see it's simmering real good. It looks real good. It's getting there. Gotta let it finish cooking because the eye hasn't really get real hot yet. So here I am, cover that up. Now I'm getting ready to do my rice. I'm getting ready to pour my rice into my pot. So I'm not going to put that much because nobody really is here going to eat anything, because they're very picky. So I basically put too much rice in there. So I'm about to get ready to proceed to take some rice out of that pot. I'm going to take a handful of that rice out of the pot and put some back in the bag, because I know I'm not throwing out no food. So after that, I go to the sink, get that water ready. Of course, I put my hands in my food. I love to. But once I first do my rice, I got to fill the bottom of that pot. And then once I fill the bottom of that pot, I rinse it off. Of course, the pot look a little dingy on the side, but let me tell you something. These some good working pots. One of my TikTokers gave me these pots. These some good pots. But anyways, I let the water run. I drain my rice about 3 or 4 times. I'm very picky because that's how my grandma taught me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to wash that rice more than one time to make sure you get all them grains out of it, which I know I don't have no grains in my rice, but I wash it 2 or 3 times. Once I wash it 2 or 3 times, I take a spoon, not my hands this time, and stir it up, and then make sure I fill the rice pot up with at least about a half a pot of water, not too full because you don't want no gummy rice. So after I do that, then I get my frying pan ready. I put my bread in there to drain the grease, because I don't have no paper towel, so I use bread to drain the grease for my pork chops. Now I'm getting ready to put a little bit of sugar into my beef stew, and I love sugar in my beef stew. I don't want too much because it'd be too sweet, but beef stew tastes real good with seasoning salt, butter, and sugar. So here I'm putting the top on that. Once I put the top on that, then my rice is bubbling. So let's finish this video. So I decided to do a cornbread, because that's not going to be right if I don't do that cornbread with that beef stew. So I'm about to get ready to put this cornbread mix into a pot and mix it up. I usually use sugar, egg, and milk in mine. So I'm getting ready to open up this box while trying to hold this camera in my hand at the same time. It's very hard not trying to use 2 hands, you know what I'm saying? So I'm getting ready to open up this box and pour this Jiffy cornbread mix into this pot right here. So I finally got that baby open, you know what I'm saying? So I pour it into that pot. Once I pour it in there, then I'm getting ready to crack this egg. I only put 1 egg in mine. Some people put 2 in there, so I only put 1 in mine because it's only 1 box. If I did 2 boxes, then I would have put 2 eggs in there, but I only put 1 egg in there. Then I added some milk into their pot as well. Not too much milk because I don't want it too super where it's not going to cook. So after I put the egg and the milk in there, then I decided that I'm going to put just a little bit of sugar. Stop judging people. I love cornbread with sugar, and I don't know who all do that, but I put like 2 teaspoons of sugar into my cornbread. It doesn't make it too sweet if you put 2 teaspoons, but I love sugar in my cornbread. And I think I was like that when I got pregnant with Naya, and my Naya godmama put sugar in her cornbread, and I was getting ready to go to the airport. I remember she fixed me a plate, and the plate had cornbread and barbecue baked chicken and rice on it, and I ate the cornbread. It was so sweet and good. So I think that's the reason why I fall in love with my cornbread with sugar in it. So now I'm stirring it up. I can tell y'all a little story time. Y'all know how y'all like y'all story time on TikTok, but anyways, I'm stirring it up. Make sure I stir it real good to make sure it's thick enough for me so I can drop that baby in the pan. So I'm gonna keep stirring. Even though my hand get tired, my grandma used to use a blender. She used to use the type of blender, cake mix blender thing, every time she stirred up something. So I'm just using the spoon. But it's all good and ready now. So I'm getting ready to get my pan set up so I can go ahead and get the pan hot to drop this cornbread in the oven. So I'm gonna continue on stirring this for another 5-10 minutes. And then I'm getting ready to check on my rice. It looks good. Then I check on my beef stew. I stir it up. I check it out. Everything looks good with the beef stew and rice. You know I'll be cooking that rice, y'all. And then I'm about to go ahead and check on my grease, which is not getting hot. And I add a little bit more grease to it because it's not enough grease to fry my pork chops with. So I add some more grease to it. I basically use the whole jug because this deep fryer is big. You got to have enough grease in there to fry the pork chops. So then I add my pan back in to make sure it was enough grease to see wasn't enough. So it's more than enough. So I got my butter already hot on my pan to drop that cornbread into that pan. I like a lot of butter in my pan to make sure my cornbread don't stick. So I pour my cornbread into the pan, making sure I get all of it out of that pot. I don't want to leave nothing in the pot, so I make sure I get all of it out. After I get all of it out, then I go ahead and place it inside of the oven and let it bake. Now I'm checking my grease pot to make sure it's getting hot. It's not says ready yet. I hate using this deep fry because I don't really think the food come out right. So as I wait for it to get hot, it doesn't take that long. I make sure my pork chop still got all that flour in it. You can see that flour sitting in it. But anyways, the grease is getting there. It's getting there. I'm just still waiting on it to say when it's ready. So once it get ready, then I'm gonna drop them chops in there. And I got it set to a certain temperature because I see where it say meat's supposed to be 375. So it's getting hot. It says ready. So I'm gonna drop some pork chops in there to make sure it's hot. I don't want to drop no flour down in it because the flour makes it hard. So I drop the meat in. Yeah, it's hot. You can tell it's hot because it's frying. So I'm going to drop like 3 pieces of pork chops in there at one time and let it fry. And once I do that, then I flip it over and I'm going to put a top on it and let it fry and not bother it. But I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. So once I look at it and it's still saying ready, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit because I had already turned it down. Then I shake the basket and make sure they all in the grease and frying all at the same time. And here we are. You know, you got that one child that does not want to eat what you got. So I'm about to do some ramen noodles for the ones that don't want food. I did the ramen noodles. I'm putting in the water in the pot now. I'm getting ready to fill it up and put it on the stove and let it cook. Yes, I do spoil my children, but I cook dinner. So I'm in here now flipping over my meat to make sure my meat is done. I don't like using this deep fryer. I like using my pot on the stove, I guess because I always fry chicken in my pot on the stove. But this deep fryer, it works really good, but I just hate using my deep fryer. But right now I'm flipping this meat to make sure it's cooking good, which it is, and the grease is real hot, so I have to turn it down. Once I let that meat simmer, then I just basically let that baby fry and just watch it fry and just put the top back on it and let it cook and turn the temperature down because this deep fryer get real hot. I never used it. I had it for so long when I bought it from out of Walmart last year. Say it again.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later.
See you guys later.